All right, guys, let's get ready to start the show. For those who are watching the community channel, which I highly recommend that you go over to subscribe, we're already started over there. We got a special guest tonight. His name is OC. Welcome to the show.
Good to be with you.
Well, I'm just joking. That's not the special guest. We got
okay.
Pete McCanville. That's right. Hey. Hello, Pete. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm actually still recovering from yesterday, where I was waiting for a delivery of my latest watch purchase, which it literally the wait almost killed me. But I feel like I'm starting to feel better.
No, I totally get it. I'm a couple of kids down. I've got 2 grandkids now, and I reckon waiting for a new watch is more stressful than having a baby born. It's just
it was exhausting. I thought, and it basically told me that the delivery is going to be the latest 8 o'clock, but they delivered it at 8:45. So it's just mind-numbingly long wait. And I had to do also the show. I had to do this show. And what did I do? I just waited with all the people, and I put about 100 people through it. Just incredible stress of waiting for expensive watch. But let's not worry about that. Let's talk.
Do you want to at least show the watch after that huge buildup?
Well, I don't know if you would be familiar. This is a very little known German brand, Moritz Grossman.
I did. Because I'm who I am, I couldn't help but research. So I tried to figure out who you are.
Yes. Okay.
And saw you had the Grossman. Absolutely love that watch. I've kind of, I hate that expression, but I've kind of, don't call it the poor man's version, but I've got something kind of similar.
Longines?
Sorry?
Longines?
No, I've got a Dornbluth and Zone.
Oh, I love that one.
Dornbluth and Zahn. Okay, interesting. Do you have it over there with you so we can take a look at it?
Do.
Let's see here.
My camera's not good at this.
Oh, it does look very, very similar, actually. Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Oh, whoa. You know what? Actually, very surprisingly similar.
Yeah, so it's the same, that whole like German aesthetic, just they carried it through. So many of the Glasuda watches look kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
Similar kind of backstory on the brand, just a whole bunch cheaper. I
got extraordinarily lucky with this watch. It was sold to me at a very steep discount, so otherwise I wouldn't be able to buy it.
I couldn't. Yeah, I was lucky to get mine. I know the sort of the local AD, and we were just talking about it. So I was able to get it at a price I wouldn't be able to afford now. And even then, I had to wait. I had to wait almost 14 months to have it made. So like they're made for you. There's like 8 little guys who they're tinkering away, making your watch.
What is the AD situation like where you are? I mean, if you wanted to buy a new Breitling or IWC or whatever, is it a situation where you do have to wait months and months and months, or do you have to go to a major city?
I'm in a major city. So I'm in Melbourne, Australia. So it's, a lot of people don't know what that means. It's like 5.5 million people. If you picked it up and dropped it in the States, it'd be in the top 10 biggest cities. I walked to Collins Street, and I've got a Watches of Switzerland and Hourglass. And
where you're located at?
Melbourne.
Oh, you're in Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Incredible. I was just there a couple of weeks ago.
When I was going back and looking at your back catalogue, you did something I'm never going to do, which is visit Archie. So he's in Brisbane, is he?
Yes, it was.
It feels so right. He feels so Brisbane.
What do you mean?
Went from Brisbane to Sydney and then Melbourne.
Yeah. in Australia, we kind of have the opposite to the United States. So in the United
Yes.
States, you would talk about like living in the north and then like going on holidays and like spring break in the south.
Because you go higher for the warmer temperature.
For us, it's the other way around. And
Yes.
all of the jokes that you might make about the south, we make about like Queensland. And so, yeah, when you tell me that Archie's in, like, even better, he's got to be Gold Coast.
Hey, we got a member super chat from Pocket Watch Time, who's been a member for 8 months as a story editor, saying congratulations on the new watch, Timmy, and hello to Pete and OC.
Dingo Dave, another Australian member.
I
Easy, Pete,
apologize.
Don't compare all Queenslanders to Archie Luxury.
That's true. It's grossly unfair.
Well, I think Green Room started that whole. I didn't understand it, but Green Room was talking about it extensively about how much he hates it up there. So yeah, God, but it's pretty funny. Boston Collector, let's go. Another blockbuster guest. It's okay. We actually look. The channel is open for everyone today. So if anybody wants to hop on and talk watches with us, please jump on. Raypod, you didn't lose the wrench because there's different channels. We are on different channels. Zachariah Trench, Michael Paris, Whole Milk, How's Strut. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show.
Who is Tim? I don't know. I ask myself that question every day.
Who is Tim?
Pete, you're
That's a good point.
Pete, you're a fan of Breitling, right? Did you see the video that Christian from Theo and Harris did, where it was the I think it was the recommendation to the Breitling CMO or CEO or something like that? What are your takes on that? We had Christian on last week, and we talked to him about it.
Yeah, I was confused, and I think that's. And first off, I'm kind of a little I was taken by surprise that a lot of people are now calling me like the Breitling guy, but I kind of, maybe I'll just own that and say, yeah, okay, that's something I'm doing. Yeah, I found it a bit confusing. It was like the first video was, I didn't understand what it had to do with the brand or the story he said he was trying to tell. It was a nice video, beautifully prepared, long lingering shots on an absolutely gorgeous watch. But I kept thinking about it. Why are you showing me that fucking watch? I don't understand how it fits with the rest of the story. And then when he came on later and did his sort of open letter, I felt like he was talking to a Breitling he didn't know. He was talking to a Breitling of 5 years ago, pre-George Kern and pre-everything that they've done since. So I just, I felt confused by what he was saying. I couldn't sort of fit the organization, the brand, the stories that he was talking about with the brand I know and sort of watch. So I didn't feel outraged. I wasn't shaking my fist at the camera, but it was more like, what are you doing? I don't understand. So yeah, that was my reaction.
Makes sense.
I think what Christian does, I think after talking to him, right? It's right, these companies, right? They have their way of marketing, and their kind of marketing is very, very simple. I think the people who are usually tasked at selling these watches, they're big marketing firms, and they kind of operate on stereotypes. They're not watch people. They're just being paid to sell to kind of just maybe exaggerate a little bit of what a pilot's watch is or something like that. And I think Christian, when he's looking at this, I think he was thinking, well, these guys are doing a terrible job because they're not watch people, and instead they should hire me because I'm a watch person, okay? And I know what the Breitling customers would want to know more than these big firms. So I think that was his kind of marketing pitch. He's very smart, and it's like he's not doing YouTube for just for fun. He's doing it to get these clients, to get the clients.
Yeah, and actually what you just said there is really interesting, and I think possibly that's where it fell down. Like I said, I'm not being critical of Christian. And I loved the production of the video. I just couldn't see how it related to the product. And so there you go. Maybe what you just nailed. Maybe you just nailed what the problem was. What you had was a guy with an artistic vision who never actually spoke to the client and said, what do you want from us? What story do you want to tell? And so he just came in from outside, great storyteller, great video producer, but with no idea of what the client is actually wanting to do, just missed the mark. That kind of makes sense.
Yes. We got we have a member super chat from the Chili Badger, who's a member for 14 months as a staff writer. Says, lovely to see Pete. He's a gentleman. Thank you, Chili Badger. And Michael Paris, $10 super chat with Timmy's circular logic.
Trademark.
It would be like placing South Florida to Queensland. Okay. Now it makes sense. So Queensland is South Florida, meaning Archie's comparable to Mathis. Well, I think he's comparable to maybe, because actually Mathis was born in Brooklyn and he moved to Florida, but maybe, I don't know who was born in Florida that we know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe like the Docs Report, but he moved there as well. But thank you for that analogy. It's very, very well appreciated. Okay. So let's keep going. So what is your relationship with Breitling? Why do you think you became known as the Breitling? Do you have like Breitling watches, or was it just something?
So I've got a couple, and so going back in time a little bit, way back into the 80s and the 90s, I wasn't into watches, but I consumed media, and Breitling was just a solid watch brand and had a lot to do with aviation. I work in aviation. I'm in the Air Force, so that's kind of what I do. So it was a name that was always kind of around. When I joined the watch community and started paying attention, probably in about 2016, I'll be honest, I was kind of surprised that Breitling was very much on the nose. It was a brand that you did not really talk about, that was really, I would say, actively disliked by the watch community, and still is in huge chunks.
There is still actually a few things that I don't know. That some stuff that I can't confirm about Breitling. From watchmakers' perspective, that they don't really like it. But here's the thing: Breitling is independent. So we do have to remember that a lot of these other brands have been basically consumed by some type of conglomerates, whereas Breitling, they've been making a lot of different watches that I don't know how they fit into current catalog. There's just so much new stuff so quickly, and I think it'll take time for them to kind of find their footing exactly.
I think that's absolutely true, although I'd sort of turn that around a little bit and say I think they know exactly what they're doing. I think it's going to take a while for us to figure that out. And that's kind of how I got into it. I was kind of, so I wasn't a huge Breitling guy. I was just sort of watching, but I was curious about the brand. And then I started watching them. And then someone did I can't remember who, it was Scottish Watches. They did on a podcast, they mentioned that Breitling was totally unfocused, had no idea what they were doing, were just throwing ideas at the wall.
That's kind of what it seems like.
Which made me go back.
Without a chronograph function. What were they thinking?
Well, yeah, that's an interesting one. So I went back and I had a look at what was going on. I plotted out all the moves that they've been making, and that's when I thought, actually, they have a really clear idea of what they're doing. They know exactly where they're going. They just wanted to there was a kind of a hangover period of like there's some watches, like there was that Navitimer 8 that was a disaster. The Navitimer that wasn't a chronograph that is
Right.
apparently, I've heard, sells quite well, but has a kind of weird relationship. A lot of those decisions were made in 2016, just before the new organization took over. And so they were sort of, because remember, it takes 3 years from the moment someone says, let's have a watch, it's 3 years till it turns up.
Right.
And so in 2018, you're seeing decisions that 2015 Breitling made.
Okay.
But what you've seen since then is, one, the brand has been absolutely ruthless with old lines that it doesn't want anymore. The Navitimer 8 was gone in like months. If you do watch the website, like if a watch isn't selling, it's gone. It's just there's nothing. It's the exact opposite of the Omega website. Like there was a time a couple of months ago, they were having trouble getting some movements for one of their watches, so they couldn't sell it. So they took it off the website, and then when the movements came back available, then it came back on the website. That's how aggressively they're managing that site. I think like everything, I actually got involved in politics a little while ago and did some like media training for stuff. Okay. And I was told once the media message that they give to budding politicians is, if I say this thing one more time, my head is going to explode and I'm going to be physically ill in front of the audience. They are just beginning to hear your message. And I think that's true of brands. So if you aren't into a brand, and look, it's absolutely I totally get why people wouldn't be into Breitling. It's got a pretty checkered history recently. But if you're not really into it and you just pop in, see a watch, pop back out again, come back 3 or 4 months later, pop back in, see a completely different watch, it makes total sense that you don't understand what you're seeing and you're not forming a new picture. Compare that to Rolex. You haven't seen a change in 70 years.
Right. It's the brand. If you look at the brand today, Rolex looks exactly the same as they always were. Whereas Breitling went through such crazy image rebrand, even in the past like 10 years. Like they were the hottest watches for associated with like rapper culture because they were so blingy, and they completely rebranded that image to kind of watches that appeal to enthusiasts, because re-releasing all their old heritage lines and bringing stuff back that doesn't really appeal to, it's a completely different shift, and it could be jarring. Like people could open it up and it's like, whoa, this is not the Breitling that it was just handful of years ago.
Oh, absolutely! You should see the little wars going on inside the Breitling community. The guys who, there's a lot of people like me that looked at those big blingy, like those huge chronomat type things, and I was utterly turned off. I hated those things, but they did sell. There were people who loved them.
Oh yeah,
and they absolutely hate this new direction. They hate George Kern with a passion. They hate color. What do you mean you're making woman-sized watches? Oh, they fucking hate this new thing.
They went from appealing to people who like to flex watches to kind of enthusiasts, toned down versions of those same watches. Re-released, and
look
also
what they did. Look what they did with the Navitimer. They took away a lot of the high polished from the case. They made it more brushed areas. They're trying to tone it down and make it a little bit more mainstream.
Yes. Like, let's take a look here at the Navitimer real quick. JMB, August 12th, £2 super chat. Tim, new AP Code 1159 pieces are wild. We're gonna take a look at these very soon. I didn't even realize there's new Code 1159 watches. Jeez.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Well, We'll see. We'll take a look at very soon. Yeah. So even if you look at the bracelet, right, for the new Navitimer, it's polished mixed with brushed links on the watch, and the case now is not full on polished. It's brushed with polish. So
Yeah.
much more sensible.
And
And if
smaller
you do
sizes
get in,
too, right? The
Mhm.
41,
well,
43, and 46.
That's right. There's different sizes to appeal to kind of, I guess, more people. Not just giant, because 10 years ago they were only making these giant watches. I actually thought for the longest time that like a Breitling Navitimer should be like 46 mil in size, until I saw the vintage ones at a Breitling event in Manhattan. And I realized, wait a minute, the old Navitimers, they were like 39 mil in size. So
yeah,
46 is not kind of accurate representation of that watch. So
that's right. On the other hand, using a 38 millimeter Breitling is really hard.
yeah,
It's probably a bit small.
yeah. That's why like 41. Now the way they done it now, it's very clever. 41, 43, and 46. That way they can kind of cover all the bases. But maybe it's too many watches. I don't know. Well, we'll see. That's how they want to do it. And only
And with
Yeah,
the
that's a
same
really
and with the same movement, right, Tim?
yes, it is. It is the same movement in all three versions. The Chili Badger 2-pound super chat. Hey Pete. PS, is the Cyclops still called the Ward? Ooh.
no, it's not a wart. It's a crystal carbuncle. It's
Uh,
I think Chili Badger's referring to the fact I hate.
mm.
I will not own. It's one of my deal breakers. I will not own a watch with a Cyclops from any
Ooh,
brand.
They're
wowzers.
pretty much
Why
eliminates a
not?
whole
Why
bunch of
not?
Rolexes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's if I do ever go Rolex, it's going to be OP or an older Sea Dweller. They're pretty much. Oh, I suppose there's a no date sub.
Mm.
That's
You
it.
know,
But yeah,
a Polar. One of my favorite watches is the Rolex Explorer 2 Polar.
mhm,
Now, one thing that you will notice about this watch is that actually the Cyclops does on the white dial. It doesn't actually stand out that much. You can't see it as well as you would see it on the black dial. So this could
yeah.
be an option. This is one of my favorite watches. Let's see
Funnily
here.
enough, when I got into watches, I'm a collector by sort of disposition. As soon as I dive into something, and I can feel it sticking. I know I'm going to become a collector of sorts. And so,
Yeah.
right, almost from the same beginning. Hey,
Uh,
almost right from the beginning, I reckon I'd been in the hobby for about
mm,
3 months, and I'm starting to make lists of what's the collection I want, where do I want to get to. I'd picked
yes.
out my my Grail, and that's it. That was the Grail watch I wanted. And over the time, I've just found myself drifting further and further away from Rolex. I found myself drifting further and further away from that watch, and I've my Grail kind of switched, and so it's now something quite different. Well, it's not actually totally different, but it's not that Explorer anymore. But I totally understand the appeal. I think it's a
Yes.
great watch, and I suppose that's something I feel like I should always say. I'm not a massive fan of Rolex. I don't want to own one, but I'm not one of those guys who says because I don't want them, they must be shit and they're terrible. They're fantastic watches, and for those people who want them, all power to you. I totally understand why, just not for me.
Sorry, Pocket Watches. Welcome to the stream, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I got the summoning from Dingo Dave, and Mike K wanted to see my Grand Seiko. So
let's see that Grand Seiko.
So pretty much coming on to say hey to Pete, who is a good friend of mine online. I thought it would be a fun time to say hello and to save him from the fire, because I knew he was going down the avenue of anti-Rolexing, and I'm like, Pete's gonna burn. Pete's gonna burn.
Oh man.
One thing I would say is you don't get to be me without having survived some pretty hard punches. I doubt there's anything anyone can say online that I would give a shit about. So
you're welcome. You're welcome on this panel anytime. Then.
Well, Pete is one of the most fun debaters to have. So whenever there's an intrigue in the watch world, he throws some great insight in there, and pretty much will do his best to twist your arm in the other direction, very politely.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to convince Pete to join us on the Rolex side, and I think look, Rolex is kind of so difficult to get in Australia that a lot of the anti Rolex kind of language that comes from is because people just can't get their hands on it. You know, if you can't get your hands on it, then might as well hate it. So
no, that's absolutely true. But I that's absolutely true. And to get Rolex in Australia is very, very difficult. The vast majority of people I know that have them got them through Hong Kong.
Wow.
But I want to be really clear. That's got nothing to do with my attitude to Rolex. It's not like I'm not some kind of I can't get one, therefore I'm angry at you type of thing. No, for me, it's a lot deeper. It's the vibe of the brand isn't a vibe I want to carry.
A lot of the owners over the past couple of decades, you know, it's got an aspect of douchiness to it, right? Like when you're at a restaurant and your waiter has a Submariner and the bartender has a Yachtmaster, it's like there's too much. It's too much, right?
And again, it's kind of a very old thing for me. So I'm older than many people here, I suspect. So I kind of grew up during the 80s and the 90s when Rolex was quite openly and deliberately changing who it was. You know, in 1971, they released the Explorer. They don't release anything for another 21 years. And then in 92, they come out with a solid gold, Yacht Timer, Yachtmaster. And that's kind of, so during that time when I went from the Explorer 2 to the solid gold Yachtmaster was when I started paying attention to Rolex. And it's no surprise that it's during that time that Rolex becomes the watch of Patrick Bateman just before he murders prostitutes. That's and for me, and so like my feelings about Rolex have got nothing to do with the fact that in the last couple of months I can't get one. It's got a lot to do with, for the last 40 years, Rolex has been the brand of the dead behind the eyes corporate psychopath. And I just don't vibe with that.
You know, I remember I was one time at a we have these Woodbury it's called Woodbury Commons. It's like a location where they have all these stores, right? And I remember I was at the Breitling. They have a Breitling boutique there where they sell kind of like discounted Breitlings, and there was a guy. And he was looking at watches, and I started talking to him a little bit. And you know, he asked me like, "What do I have?" I told him, "Oh, I had a couple of Rolex," and he's like, "Oh, I don't do Rolex. I don't like." He had like almost like a revulsion. It's like, "Oh, it's just almost like I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about Rolex. I don't want to have anything to do with the brand. Let me just look at the Breitlings. I'm sorry, sir." was really, really weird experience. But listen, there is those associations with the brand. I'm trying to dispel some of it because I like the watch. I'm not so much the brand guy, rather than I like the quality that their watches are. And for me, what you'll find out, it's more important is like what story the owner of the watch has over whatever the story that the brand tries to create about a watch, right? The marketing, I don't really care about that. Like, because they'll say whatever they want, IWC. I don't know if you've seen all the new ads with the Top Gun, right? They're trying to sell a watch as if you buy this watch, you're going to be a Top Gun pilot. It's just like, come on, calm down.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. And it's this weird thing where, and again, I've got to be really clear to people that you own a Rolex and that you see Rolex and you don't have my fucking hang-ups in your head about the brand. All power to you. That's great. I don't project my feelings about the watch onto other people. So it's purely me. And like I've got to walk in and plump down in Australia, 10 grand or something for a watch. I want it to be a brand that I don't have to sort of that vibes with me, and that's just not, as I said, just not Rolex.
Yeah, and you're also into chronographs, and Rolex. Other than it has the Daytona, but it's really not the most legible, usable, practical chronograph on the market.
No, in fact, the Daytona's it's such a weird watch. It's it's the most iconic. It's the most iconic chronograph probably. You ask most people that think of a chronograph, they'll think of the
it's close with the Speedy. It's close there, but
right.
Yeah, that'd be fair. That'd be fair. So, but
I think
on the other hand,
more accessible. There's so many more people can access the Speedy that's why I think it's close. Like a lot of people want the Daytona, but because they're unable to, that would be like the second closest, and maybe even more iconic. I mean, the moon landing. I think.
Oh, it's certainly up there. I'm not going to try. Yeah. You could arm wrestle on that one for ages.
Yeah.
But one of the things I find, and Rolex is a brand that, as I said, don't get me wrong, they make great watches. They're great watchmakers. They've got fantastic technology. But it is fascinating to me that possibly their most desired watch is iconic and famous purely because a celebrity wore it.
Right.
It didn't go to the moon. It didn't set any records. It didn't create anything. It wasn't the watch that anyone used to win a war.
Yes.
A couple of movie stars wore it.
Yeah,
they didn't
they didn't care about it as much to create their own movement until 2 decades ago. For a long time, I had somebody else's movement. So.
It's just a nice little irony inside a brand.
Well, let me add to that because let me just first read this super chat. It's been I had it up for a long time. Norris, my squirter. I'm not even sure. Tim, are you exfoliating your skin? Looks as clean as mine. Thank you. I'm not even sure what that means, but point is, I think look at Richard Mille. Look at the success of Richard Mille. Right, and that is it's explained by their association with the celebrity names. I mean, the names of the people that have the biggest recognition in the world. It's just so powerful. I think is that is truly, and look at same thing with it was accidental, but Rolex when they did the James Cameron, right? That watch took on the James Cameron name. I think, although it didn't propel that watch to some extreme desirability because it's completely unwearable, but I think it did make it a lot more desirable than it would have been otherwise. And I think Rolex, it's also always a danger going with the celebrity. I was talking to someone and they were like, man, Richard Mille, they got to be very careful who they select because you don't want to, because like the celebrity might be very well known today, but if he's done something and then let's say politics turn against him and then they have to kind of disavow a guy, so you get into some it's very dangerous to make contracts and name watches after people if they become controversial. But anyways, there is a interesting marketing there.
Yeah.
And I think
question for you guys: if you remove the Speedmaster and the Daytona, what would you say the 2 or 3 top most legible, most usable chronographs are? But leaving the Daytona and the Speedmaster aside.
Usable and legible.
Usable, legible, practical, good value, whatever criteria you want to use.
Zenithal Primero, they got those 3 different dials, right? Different color dials. They're important for this. People say like, well, why would you have 3 different colors? Well, each color represents the different thing that you're timing, right? The minutes, the hours, and just the running seconds. So it helps with legibility. It's not just for aesthetic. But another
I'm with Tim. The one that leaps out at me is the Zenith. For all of the reasons that Tim just said. Yeah, that's the one that kind of leaps out at me.
Yeah.
What about IWC versus Navitimer?
Shit. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the big IWCs, the IWC pilots. Yeah. I totally forgot. From a purely like you want to use the chronograph perspective, it's pretty hard to beat what they do.
I think the Daytona is absolutely unlegible, but it's got the best marketing. Adrian Barker, Daytona is more in-house than the Speedy, given the history of the movements and the fact ETA makes the movements for Omega.
That's not really true in that you can only say that because we know the corporate structure of the Swatch group. The thing is, we don't know the corporate structure of the Rolex group because of the way it's structured. We have no idea how it works. So we pretend as though Rolex is this single big monolith, but if you do start digging into it, you'll see that the various divisions of Rolex are broken up as individual companies. They kind of reflect how they came in. So Agler was originally the movement manufacturer for Rolex. They're not in-house. They were a completely different company.
But here's the thing. When I think about Agler and their relationship with Rolex, they had an exclusive contract. So Agler was making movements exclusively for Rolex. Now, most people will say, well, just because Rolex didn't own them until like 2000, early 2000s. I still think it's probably that to me that feels like in-house. If you're just working with the partner,
well,
on paper it isn't, right?
Yeah, I got to jump on Pete's side on this. That's sort of my pet peeve of these in-housers like FP Journe. You buy the French, you buy the French company that makes your cases. You slap your name on it. Now you go, ooh, now we make the cases. You just bought the company, and that doesn't really change anything. And that's what Rolex really did. They just bought everybody who made their stuff. And I mean, technically, it's theirs, but I kind of like the idea of an in-house company.
But those companies were never making movements for like Agler. They were never making stuff for anyone else.
Agler made movements for Alpina back in the 30s.
Shoelaces, they're not really Nike shoelaces. They're just shoelaces bought by Nike. I want Nike to go out and pretty much say, design me the best shoelace. And if Nike's doing the design work, then I'm going to call them in-house.
But also, here's the thing: Rolex, they didn't really care. Like the whole in-house, out-house, right? That's just a marketing strategy. They didn't buy even when they bought the Agler, so that they're on paper belong to Rolex. I think that was just they wouldn't. I don't even think they would have done it. They didn't just buy it and then they're advertising that their movements in-house. Rolex doesn't really give a shit what people say, whether it says in-house. But I think they did it just so that it would, on paper, fill in that box that, okay, this is how other people do it, so this is the way we'll just do it. But they don't draw it, so they don't talk about it. I don't think they really care. I mean, they're making their own metal and their own gold at their own foundry. It's like in-house.
It's the control freaks. They want everything vertically integrated. So they want to control everything except the retail distribution. Yeah, the cases, the bracelets, the movements, the dials, the gem setting, everything.
Yeah, I think one of the big things is you're absolutely right. It's for them when they bought Agler, when they buy their dial maker, when they buy their case maker. It's not because they want to bring it in-house because that's some sort of trend. They did it because corporately they want to have total control and vertical integration of their entire system. And
It's about consistency, being able to reliably be able to keep making what they're making, because they want to keep doing the same thing they're doing now for the next 100 years. They do have to get that control. Otherwise, if Aigler goes bankrupt, then they're screwed. So they want to be able to make sure that they'll be able to keep doing what they're doing forever. Other brands, see, it's not a problem for other brands because they can just discontinue that model and make a new one. They don't really care. Racing R5 OC. What are your thoughts on AC3? Did you watch his video years before the stream?
I started watching Archie Luxury, off topic, but I started watching Archie Luxury in early 2020 when I started looking at watches. Thank you for the question.
Cool. Adrian says, even based on the corporate structure, Daytona is still more in-house. The Swatch Group bought ETA and Omega now, Omega movements are classified as in-house. I think everything that's under
Swatch Group.
I just call everything under Swatch Group in-house. I don't see the distinction. What you're actually asking, I mean, that idea is asking brands to do stupid things.
The whole in-house, it's lost meaning. It has lost all its meaning. It only mattered that the in-house only mattered in like mid 2000s. Okay, until like 2000.
Did it ever matter?
It mattered in advertising because it was very important to people who were buying watches, whether it was in-house or was the movement outsourced.
It mattered in a trivial way because when I know you can buy a $135 ETA movement and pop it into a 10 grand watch, at least my soul feels a little better if I could lie to myself and say that this watch costs more than $135. So is that actually a real matter? I don't know, but that's why I like in-house. It makes me feel better about spending more money than I should.
Yeah, it's actually really funny. People say that all the time. And one of the jobs I had for a little while was doing a financial analysis of products. So getting a product and then breaking it down and figuring out how much the parts cost. And if you do that to a Rolex movement, so pick the movement in an OP, and then play that game backwards, then the movement, most likely a Rolex movement, costs maybe $200, maybe $250. An ETA movement costs maybe $100. So there's $100 to $150 difference in the price of the two movements. But if you go and stick an ETA movement in a $10,000 watch, I'll remove the names. I stick $100 movement into a $10,000 watch, and people go, "Oh, that's ridiculous! What are you doing?" But I stick a $250 movement into a $10,000 watch, and people go, "Chef's kiss." That's what we need.
Pete, I got at least a reason why, though. The idea, though, is let's say the ETA 2824. No one had to do any design. No one had to do anything for the patents. Nobody had to build a new movement. They just used an old ferry that had been laying around. And so when you pretty much make a new movement, at least once again, I can lie to myself and say, at least there was some manufacturing involved. And I know I'm lying to myself, but it does make it better.
I mean, guys, hold on a second. It's not just the price of the movement. What it costs to manufacture is not necessarily the only price. You guys are excluding the research and development. Nope. How many watches that movement is going to go?
No, that's all
just raw parts. That's just raw parts.
That's all that's factored into the price of the watch. You're absolutely right. You got to think about the R&D, but that's part of the price of the watch.
But also, how many watches that movement is going to go into? Like with the ETAs, they were made on a completely different scale versus the Rolex.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, a watch costs what a watch costs. So you've got a $10,000 watch. You know that Rolex spends about 35% of turnover on marketing. So that $10,000 watch is, or actually, you don't quite do it that way. You start by saying, this is what the margin is at one end. So that $10,000 watch actually cost someone $6.5. And then there was another margin. So that's now $3.5. And then you say that, okay, so I've got that $3,500 watch that came out of Rolex. We know they spent 30% on marketing. So it's now a $2,000 watch. And then you say, okay, so inside that, and that retail price has everything. Has all the old historic research and development. It has the $10 you pay Hans to run HR and Frida gets for running the. That's all in the watch. And once you pick that apart, you go.
We don't want to think that, Pete. We don't want to know that it's only a $200 movement. We want to think it's a more expensive movement. We want to think it's the incredible Rolex movement because I'm paying $25,000 for this watch, and I want it to be the best watch.
That's right. But take the OP, decompose the price. There's not enough money for the movement to be worth that much.
I know.
Hello, Adrian. Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
Hey.
This is a very contentious topic, but a fun topic.
Those are the best kinds.
Yeah,
we read your comments, and you don't want Rolex to get a pass because your feeling is that basically Omega and the Swatch group, what they've done with ETA should be considered similar to what Rolex did in verticalizing a lot of their parts of their supply chain. True.
Yeah, as we've all said, that the whole in-house conversation is kind of pointless because everyone has their own web of bullshit. Do we swear in here? Of bullshit that they have, and it is all just marketing. And is in-house just a corporate structure, or is in-house Roger Smith sitting at a workbench making wheels by himself? From scratch, and so it's two completely different things. My whole point is that Rolex often gets a bashing because they are the biggest watchmaker. They are the most powerful watchmaker, and often Omega gets a pass because it's the underdog. Where in fact Omega still have the movements. The Omega movements are built in an ETA factory, ETA for Omega. And the only reason they can be classed as in-house is because they sit under the same parent company. Whereas with Rolex, yes, you could say Rolex are the equivalent of the Swatch group. And under that, they have their own subsidiaries. But I'd say corporate-wise, that is still more in-house, regardless of just the fact that the end result is coming from the parent company as opposed to the end result coming from two subsidiaries talking to each other. Also, Omega's big bragging point is the coaxial escapement, which they didn't develop. They made it more commercial, but it wasn't an invention of Omega's. They just used it because the patent had expired on it and they were free to use it. Whereas Rolex developed their own escapement, the chronology escapement, which is something that costs millions to create. And an ETA movement, it isn't 100 quid. ETA movements are like 30 quid. They're nothing, pennies.
Pete, you want to jump in on that one?
That's both true and untrue. That last bit about an ETA movement being like tens of dollars. It kind of is, in that if you're and this is where it does get weird. And I'm going to go out on a limb a little bit because this is just what people have reported to me. You can go on ETA, you can go on eBay and buy yourself an ETA movement for like $50. But that's just you buying a random movement from a random guy. You have no factory.
This is direct from ETA. I've got watchmaker friends who say it's more expensive to finish the case than it is to buy the movement inside. The movement inside is one of the cheapest parts of the watch.
One of my friends that runs a brand was saying he can't get an SW200 or an ETA with all full factory support and everything like that for less than $200.
Cool. We're going to catch up on a few super chats real quick, and while Tim is doing that, I just want to say, Pete and Adrian, you've managed to take Tim's crazy watch drama channel and convert it into cerebral, boring watch talk. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Who's hating who at the moment? Let's have a quick update. Who's hating who? What's the drama?
I don't follow drama. I actually said coming in, look, if you guys get into like inter-channel drama, I'm just gonna sit and watch. I don't know it. Or maybe I'm not become part.
Maybe very difficult to follow.
Maybe this is the time. Maybe like just pick someone at random and I'll say I hate that guy.
Let's do it.
Oh God, Daniel Katz. Don't forget don't forget outsourced Jeu de Paris, JLC, etc. Man, this was such a long time ago. I don't even know how this was connected to this conversation. How's your Strad? $2. Sorry, missed the last 15 minutes. Was staring at my Rolex. That's right. And we got Kelly on her own time. Check her out on Instagram. $10. Excellent conversation, fellas. Thank you, Kelly. And JMB August 12, 2 pounds. Adrian, what do you think of JLC movements?
See, they are one of the rarities in the watch industry where their stuff is genuinely in-house. They develop and manufacture their own movements of proper watchmaking. I visited their factory a couple of years ago, and literally just raw metal coming in and off the shelf, and everything done by hand. If you have any engine turning on your watch, it's done by one lady who taught herself how to use this 200-year-old lathe, which is just this is like proper watchmaking. No machine stamping stuff. It's just legit stuff. Really very cool to see.
I think JLC was also one of the first kind of in-house. They bought up all of these independent that were making, until JLC put them all together. I think they had like every part of the watch was made at a different like little house or something. Like the cogs were made there, hairspring there, and they bought up this entire valley and put it all under one house. They were like the first in-house manufacturer of movements, and then they were selling them to other groups. But Mr. GMT $5 super Adrian in the house. Now your sexy levels have gone through the roof.
We have a lot of Australians joining tonight.
Yeah. Oh my god! But
stay sexy, boys.
What do you think about that JLC's 1,000-hour test? You know what?
It's a test.
I was very confused about it. Did they actually use the results to improve the movement, or what is going on with that 1,000-hour test?
I believe it's just a quality control test. So they come through, the movement gets cased, they run it for 1,000 hours, and it moves around and does its thing. And if it comes out and passes, congratulations, it gets sold. It's just lots of, whether it's METAS or superlative chronometer, or using someone else to certify your chronometers. It's just a test, and it's one that is unique to them. It's marketing.
Is it just in-house version of META certification, Adrian, or what? What's up with that?
I don't think it's anywhere near the level of METAS, but it's more to do with the rate. The accuracy of the watch and ensuring that it's performing how it should do, as opposed to external elements messing it about like with Omega.
Yeah, so absolutely true. It's I'm lumping it into this this big bucket of brands that do marketing so that they can brands that do testing so that they can tell you they do testing so that you feel better about the watch you're buying. It's what would this hobby be without the lies we tell ourselves? And
absolutely, 100%.
And like, if a brand can help us out with that lie, all power. Great. Thank you so much. You're making it a bit easier for me to do this.
Any excuse possible. True. That's how I justify to myself buying all these watches. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy justifying buying this watch. It was insane. Absolutely, I'm crazy. I'm absolutely insane. That's the
Moritz Grossman.
The Moritz Grossman. Yeah.
They're brilliant.
This is gonna take a long time for me to pay this off, but I mean, no normal person does this.
Just
right?
Crazy. Did you get some macro shots of the hand engraving on the back?
He's gonna make a video.
It's beautiful.
He's gonna make a video.
I'm gonna hopefully, as soon as I finish the Australia film, because I just came back from Australia. I had a lot of YouTube drama going on. completely unscripted, and it took me off the rails. I think, Adrian, we had plans to do a live stream with you talking about the podcast that you recently. Episodes are still coming out, correct?
Oh yeah, we're episode 6, episode 7 coming out this weekend.
Okay, very nice, very nice. Because I wanted to do a stream talking about the podcast, and I was just so crazy busy. People don't realize how exhausting doing YouTube
You've got these scripts to write on how to create the drama and figure out who's going to be the next target.
Right, who's in, who's out, you know.
What's
going to happen in the next episode? Yeah. Norris McSquirter, 4 pounds 49 cents super chat. When I was a lad, only magician and kings could tell the time. A pocket watch could be traded for 8-year supply of pig bones and shoe leather soup. Oh God, thank you.
That's probably the best comment that's ever come in.
Yeah. I've got a giant pile of pig bones and leather soup there.
Oh God. And Mike K, 4 pounds 49 cents. Great watch talk tonight. I remember your quartz Grand Seiko, Adrian. Would you consider getting another Grand Seiko in the future?
Ooh. Yeah, I want to get another quartz, another 9F Grand Seiko. I've got a video coming out soon on one.
Adrian, have you seen the new quartz Grand Seiko, the 9F? You know, with the 5-pointed star at 6 o'clock?
I haven't seen the new one, no.
Yeah, it came out about a month or so ago, the one with the 5-star. It's kind of got a light blue with some puffy clouds. It looks good in Photoshops. It does not look good in person. I saw it at the AD and I had to do a hard pass. But they came out with a new one yesterday that pretty much is the new Skyflake, and I think it's a 9F, and it looks actually pretty nice.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, because I was extremely impressed. Let me bring it up here. I think I got it. A good friend of the channel, Alex, has it actually.
Well, sorry, Alex, but I think the dial looks cheap.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, in person, it looks like a piece of plastic. And
whoa,
everything that is usually gorgeous about Grand Seiko, I'm not feeling it when I saw it in person. Because when I initially saw it, because it's got an exhibition case back, I was like, hell yeah, that's a gorgeous looking watch. But then I saw it in person, and I was like, ooh, no, not that gorgeous.
That's a shame, because that blue could be. It looks stunning there.
Yeah. Oh, it really does in pictures. But I said in person, it just looks like a cheap piece of plastic.
Oh, that's a shame.
Sorry to be the buzzkill.
Yeah. Look, because I really, really like this watch because it's got the GMT kind of a jumping hour hand, which I'm a huge, huge fan of the way the Explorer 2 works. So, because this watch is plus minus 5 seconds a year, which means basically this makes it for a perfect travel watch. It's not too expensive. It's under 4,000, and it's just super reliable. So I thought this would be perfect, but disappointing.
How can you even look at a new watch, Tim? Come on.
I know. I'm just Christ, it's insane. Please. I know. I'm not. I just got the Air-King. Literally, I'm completely out of control because 2 weeks ago, I got the new Air-King, which I freaking love. Unbelievable. And now
it's the watch only a Rolex lover could love.
True.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't hate the Air-King. I think this version's a lot better than the old one. It doesn't have a cyclops, so that's a win. I don't mind this. I think it's not. I can actually, in a strange way, it's kind of it's almost a Rolex that isn't for a Rolex lover because it is a little bit different to a lot of other Rolexes.
Yes. Unfortunately, I mean, because I bought this watch and now that I got the Grossman, unfortunately, I'm going to have to sell the Explorer 1, the 36, But I think in the future,
I think that's against the law.
I know, but here's the thing. There's one caveat though. There's something I promised to myself, because actually when this first came out, I really liked it in two-tone, and I got on the wait list for the two-tone, but there was a mistake, and they got me the stainless steel version. So my hope is that I'll sell this one, which is I never done it. I never sold a watch in the past. So I think I'm going to sell this to help pay for the Moritz Grossman. And then in some future, I hope the prices will keep collapsing, and I'll get the two-tone one at a discount. The watch that I wanted initially.
Really? Yeah, because the two-tone's really the only one that's, I won't say is easy to get, but is available
it's undesirable
here.
It is. Nobody wants it. It's truly I think it is. Me and Adrian, what do you think about the two-tone?
I love it. When it was announced, I hated it. I hate the concept of it, but on the wrist, it looks gorgeous. And when it gets bashed up, when you get that gold all scratched up, then it looks really sexy. But the wait lists for the two-tone are closed over here, at least in Scotland. It's people want it. It's weird.
Here they're pretty widely available, and they're trading for under retail in the United States.
What?
Yeah, and that I think we're still struggling sometimes with the idea that markets are more regional than we think. We tend to focus on like what's going on around us, and realize, and it's even worse. I was at a watch event the other day and was just chatting with a friend of mine who, utterly unlike me, can speak Chinese. And they were saying if you go to like Chinese language internet, the watch community is fundamentally different. And when you think that's 50% of watches that get sold, and it's completely different to the watch world that we look at. It's we think we sit here and we think we know all about what these big brands are doing, and if we're lucky, we have a sense of about 50% of their business.
Let me ask each member of the panel. We already know that Tim's favorite is going to be Moritz Grossman. What's your favorite up and coming independent brand?
Let someone else go first. I'm still thinking.
Yes. Adrian?
Up and coming independent. Moritz Grossman, you know why Moritz Grossman is very good? Because, I mean, listen, I think Adrian will agree with me in this one, is that their prices, they're still kind of possible to get. Everything else is so expensive.
I did an interview with the CEO of Moritz Grossman. I think it was like the second interview I've ever done in my life. And I'm pretty sure we were flirting with each other. It was either the drink or she was a relatively attractive blonde. It's a good thing my wife isn't into watches. But it was a Red Bar event, and we're both a bit.
Oh yeah, where was this?
This was in London. I wonder if the video is still up. I might have taken it down because it would have been a bad performer. But yeah, it was a while ago. But the watches are stunning. The finishing really is incredible. It's like proper handmade. You can see the marks of where the engraver's gone in, as opposed to like laser etching or machine engraved. It's crazy detail.
Other than the shameless spruiking of Moritz Grossman, any others?
Well, Schwartz Etienne, right? The friend who sold me this Moritz Grossman, he also has a Schwartz Etienne that he's selling, and I think Schwartz Etienne and that one got a carved wood align and dial, so that would also be, I think, like it's still in the price point before it's gonna. Because, like, for example, Laurent Ferrier, to get something similar from Laurent Ferrier, you have to pay double. And now he bought this for $36,000, I believe. He sold it to me at a discount, a very big discount. But, you know, you want Laurent Ferrier, you're going to have to pay double for retail. So you're looking for paying $60,000 for a three-hand watch. It's out of control. For $60,000, you can get a solid gold Rolex with diamond dial and, you know, and a steel one to go with it. the prices are getting out of control for kind of small manufacturing houses.
Cool. Real quick wristwatch check. It's this is the two-tone root beer. Go around the panel.
Ooh.
Yep.
Very nice.
I've got my new Grand Seiko SBGY009.
Very nice. Adrian or Pete, feel free to jump
I haven't
in.
announced mine yet. This is
Ooh.
a new.
Uh-oh.
I'll have to meet you with the.
Whoa! What is the? Excuse me.
I'm probably not going to announce this on my channel.
Whoa!
We didn't see it.
This one's for me.
Don't worry, Adrian. Nobody's watching.
Whoa! Oh my God! Surprise! Surprise! Was this? Can you tell us how you got it? Where is this coming from?
Just from the AD, local AD.
Ooh, very nice. I mean, in my opinion, that is probably the most beautiful GMT out of all the GMTs.
I'd absolutely love it. It's weirdly classy for a watch that should technically be quite crass.
Yes. Because it's two-tone. It's
because
it's
two-tone.
It's
Two-tone's supposed to be dirty. It's you can't quite afford the full gold. You're wanting to show a bit of wealth with the gold in it, and it should be a bit of a porn star's watch. Whereas the root beer, I think, actually isn't that, and it all feels quite tame, which is nice, which I like.
Yeah, the rose gold with the two-tone just really it's a wonderful combo.
Yeah.
Joining OC, did you know about this? What's going on?
No, we didn't. No,
you coordinated.
No, we did not coordinate. I didn't. Adrian just jumped on. So,
no one knows about this purchase. Literally no one,
Wow.
apart from the wife.
Well,
no one knows about this.
200 whole people know about it now.
Yeah.
Pete, what do you got on today?
So, yeah, I can't match a two-tone Rolex GMT. So, Breitling, what is it? Avenger GMT.
Oh, okay, very nice.
On courtesy of Adrian, and a Buck and Jack NATO.
Is
played.
it? Whoa!
Good man.
This looks too staged. This is staged. Staged product placement.
We want some
Fucking
drum.
bullshit.
I'll throw it out. I've bought a couple of straps from Adrian, and he's never given me a discount.
Is that right?
Tell him now his straps are fucking garbage. Come on.
I'll hook you up.
No, I love these straps.
We need some discount codes, Adrian, here for the Tim Wright viewers.
That's right. TW50 for 50% off.
Oh,
It's funny the number of times, because I'm really self-conscious about like doing the whole I'm a YouTuber, do you know who I am type thing. And the number of times where I've like bought stuff off people, and then later on they've said, why didn't you tell me? I would have sent you one.
Yeah, dude, we talk. just tell me you want something.
I feel bad doing that.
You silly man.
We will take any and all free shit delivered to Tim Wright. Just email hello@timwright.com. We'll take any free shit. Trust us.
Norris McSquirter, another £9 super chat. Adrian, overjoyed at your appreciation of my last super chat. I have bequeathed you a 200-year-old olive tree from my Seville estate, along with a tin of my finest mustard from Marrakesh.
This guy needs a YouTube channel.
Man,
does that YouTube symbol mean if he has a YouTube channel?
Is
that what that symbol means? I don't know what that means.
No,
this
it's
guy's
just
awesome.
the symbol means that the comment is coming from YouTube, because you could cross-platform from Twitch and other programs. So, but I don't know. Maybe he does. You never know. Although we do have some very, very high-level trolls in this chat, so they're very good.
This would have to be
role.
some very high-level trolling, and then this is the sort of trolling I appreciate. Poetry.
They tailor their trolling to the people we have on the panel. So very clever, very clever,
very smart,
clever.
deep trolling.
Yes.
Oh God. Let's see here. Let's keep going. Russell It says Tim Morris Grossman, established in 1854.
Up and coming brand.
Not this Morris Grossman, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Pete, let me ask you a question. Do you prefer vintage Navitimers or more modern Navitimer? I mean, and what's your philosophy on how you distinguish between the different eras of Navitimer when you're thinking about like what you would want to personally own?
Okay. You know what? Which one I want to own? All of them. So, that's a really interesting question. I think if I was going to buy a Navitimer today, I actually think I'd probably buy a new one. That's a Navitimer, because it's just a little. Right now, today, I'm feeling like I want something that's a little bit more fun, a little bit easier. And all that sort of thing.
We're going to pick your next Navitimer right now. Can you pull up?
But I do have. I am running a little substream of my collection, where I've started paying attention to sort of vintage Breitlings, and for me, I'm really enjoying the kind of loopy stuff that they did during the 1970s. So hold 1 second.
Okay.
So I've been picking up stuff like that.
Let's see here.
So the way my light works is bad.
Interesting. What's this?
I can't get it to focus.
Yeah, you have to cover your face.
Cover your face.
No, it's not focusing.
Also, domed crystal with the light. It's a tough.
Yeah. So anyway. If you want to look it up, it's like a 1970s Transocean, and it was during the 70s when a lot of brands, not just Breitling, a lot of brands, sort of started playing with different shapes, different colors, different ideas, and I'm just really enjoying that at the moment. And the movements, arcing back to the argument we had before, one of the great things about those movements is they're not in-house. They're nice, simple, straightforward. Value 7730s. If something goes wrong, my local watchmaker can fix it for like $500. And they're just fun and they're great. And I suppose in terms of a watchmaking philosophy, I don't put huge. Every watch for me, other than a $15 Casio, is just jewelry. If you put a lot of value in the movement, great. If you put a lot of value in the design or the case or the crystal, great. They're all equally valuable. Neither one is makes you more of an enthusiast. I don't place enormous value on the movement. For me, it's all about the design, the look, the vibe.
Yeah, I mean, movement is the whole how we started this debate, whether it's in-house or outsourced movement, right? There is the negative to having the in-house movement, is that it's going to be more expensive to service it, right? Like because you can only send it to the people that hold the parts. So we shouldn't really be worshiping the in-house manufacturing. Like I spoke with some friends and they totally freaked me out about what the hell am I gonna do with the Morris Grossman when he needs servicing. I mean, what's gonna happen? Yeah, right. It's like, hey, Tim, did you think about this before you even pulled the trigger? How much is it gonna cost to service it? I have no idea, and we'll try. We'll get to that bridge when we get there, but let's not forget about the beauty of having outsourced movement. Hey, Mickey.
Hey guys, how are you?
Welcome to the show.
Hey, Mickey.
I figured I would jump on real quick and
it's got the Breitling.
My opinion, a sleeper. The old Navitimer 2. They're still so inexpensive for some reason, especially out of Japan. These things are like $3,000, and they're 41.5 millimeter. Just that's the one to get. That's the sleeper, and then the Cosmonaut, without question. They're still out there. They're still out there, and they Nothing like it on the wrist. Nothing like it on the wrist.
Very, very respectable. Yeah, and you don't have to spend much money to get a good watch. 1X Pete, I love your take on watches, collecting, and brands. Some of your videos changed my entire perspective. And you know what? 1X was also saying, Adrian's videos got me into watches. He inspired me to get a 39mm Explorer 1 and a 39mm Black Oyster Perpetual, both of which I will own forever. And I do own a Bark and Jack travel pouch.
Pete and Adrian, what do you think of this whole aspect of the negative connotation associated with the Instagram culture and social media driving the hype around watches, and then you hear that because of what you've said and your opinions, you've actually changed people's minds and they've gotten to like or dislike something because of your opinions?
That I really like. That someone says, and if even it could be, you made me think about something I disagreed with you completely, but I changed. That's fantastic. The thing I hate, I'd be curious to know what Adrian thinks about this as well. I get really worried when someone says, I saw your review on this and I went and bought this watch, and I think, no, that's the last thing I want you to do. If I can point out something that you might have otherwise missed, that's great. But I hate it when people tell me that, I bought that because you liked it. But a comment like, I changed the way I look at something. That's kind of why I do what I do. That's why I do this. And I should say a quick shout out to Adrian. Adrian didn't change the way I look at watches, but he certainly changed. It's one of the reasons why I have a channel. Was when I'm sitting there watching, and I think Adrian, in some of your first videos where it's just like you walking onto the India kitchen, I think it was, and just staring at a camera, and that's when I thought, you know what? Take this
I can do
way.
that.
You can do it. I'm sure I've got a camera lying around somewhere. I can do it.
Amazing. But I'm completely with you, Pete. It scares me when people say, I watched your review and bought this because of what you said. That might be people just paraphrasing the fact that highlighting certain things. But I'm completely with it. I just share my thoughts on a topic, not with the intention of influencing or anything. It's more of a talking point. I want to share my piece and hear what you have to say. And sometimes the comments change the way that I see things. I own a couple of SKXs because I can't remember what I said, but I was negative about them, and someone said, that was it. I think I was just bitching about the bracelet. I can't remember what it was, but I ended up buying SKXs because of people's comments. So I just want to share my piece and see what other people have to say. But yeah, if someone emails and says, a wrist shot, I bought this because of you. Oh shit! Well, I hope you like it, because that's the most important part. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Tim dramatically wants people to start searching for Moritz Grossman watches and to make them even more rare and exclusive than they are now, to drive up the value of what he has. So,
did you pay full retail, Tim?
No, I did not. I got substantial discount because it was a friend of the show, and his collection kind of gotten completely out of control. And I have no idea why he was selling his watches. But I thought when he mentioned to me that he's selling, I thought, I better take this watch, because at least maybe if he in the future changes his mind, at least I have it and I can maybe sell it back to him, or at least it's in good hands. And he gave me a substantial discount for, because he's selling it to a friend. So I'm really, really grateful to him for doing this. And this is going to be great for the channel, I think, because at this point I only had Rolexes and a Speedmaster.
That's
all you need. That's literally all you need. Rolexes and Speedmasters.
I was going to say,
if you went to channel on that.
I was going to say, if you went to the YouTube kit of watches, what's the watch box I need to build a YouTube video, a YouTube channel, you've just about got it. Throw an SKX in there and you're done.
Hey,
trying to build a brand on pocket watches is the toughest YouTube career.
Oh, it's an impossible task. Impossible task. So I do have a Seiko. I actually have two Seikos. This is a beautiful one, very very classy. But I think this is going to add, because I told Adrian I will be, after I have few things here to finish up, and then I'm going to be launching a new YouTube channel where it's going to be just tailored for shorter videos, kind of the way
you
your
keep
channel
saying that,
is
Tim.
structured.
You need to get on it. Just do it.
I know. I have to finish this Australia movie. The Australia movie. I got this.
And,
I got
and
this
how much
1
growth
minute
will that give
bit.
you?
Huh?
How much growth will that give you?
Oh no, for that channel none. But I was paid to make this video. Yeah, so I have obligations to the viewers, past obligations. I need to take care of my past obligations because it's just like it's a lot of headache. But I'm getting to it, and I think anyways, it's gonna be I'm gonna tell you. Listen. We're gonna need to do a stream just talking about this. I think it's gonna be also good advice for other people who wanna kind of create channels that go somewhere. Okay, because
cool. Yeah,
because this channel is pretty much dead.
I can give you great tips on how to build a channel that goes somewhere. Watch my channel and then don't do any of it. Just make a list of all the topics that Pete's covered, and then make sure you never touch that topic again.
Don't put Rolex in your titles, and your don't. Yeah.
Oh, I've actually I feel dirty. I actually went through a phase a couple of weeks ago. I tried an experiment. How long could I go and not talk about Rolex? And it got to the point where people were getting angry at me in my comments about the lengths you have to go to not mention them. It's like being a fish and not talking about water. You just can't do it.
Showcase watches, £4.49. Great to see Pete on the show, Tim. One of my favorite YouTubers with interesting views on the hobby and watches. Tim is the not too obvious Rolex fanboy. Thank you.
That's a play on the previous name of Pete's channel, which was Not So Obvious Watches, which has been rebranded in this whole era of you need to name your channel after the name in order to catapult you into superstardom.
I named my channel after my name since the beginning. So
and with the original.
I was I knew that it was very important, because I just didn't trust myself, because I was into so many hobbies. I thought, man, if I ever get bored of watches, at least I can just pivot the I don't have to rename it again. It was something I knew. I was like, oh man, I can't trust myself. Phoenician Cedar, $2. Enjoying Adrian's dulcet tone. What is dulcet? I don't even know what that.
Don't make us look up stuff in the dictionary. We don't know what that means.
Difficult. Dingo Dave, $3. Thank you, Adrian, for your Air-King video. Thanks a lot.
Oh yeah, I should do an updated one. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Should do the updated. By the way, I got my Air-King. By the way, do you know the story, Adrian, of this Air-King? This is fascinating. Literally, I got ordered this. I ordered this Air-King. Basically, my AD called me saying that, hey, I was in Australia when I got a call from the AD, and I was with a gentleman called Air-King Ben on Instagram, right? And I think even Asheen made a famous video that this guy was bothering him about, like, when are you gonna make a video about the Air-King? When are you gonna make a video about Air-King? So I was with the guy when my AD said, like, someone canceled the order, so you have like 30 minutes to buy this watch. And so I was like in the rush, just filling out forms. They were sending me wrong information. They sent me a request for $100,000. It scared me so much. I started thinking, wait, was I even talking to my AD? Or was this some scam artist that contacted me through? Yeah, it's just all kinds of weird things started going through my head. I started panicking. Anyways, that's when I had a big fight with AC3, and basically this is when two channels kind of separated. So it's almost like my watch celebrating or whatever, me going separate from AC3. It's crazy. Flying away. You know?
Liberation, yeah.
The liberation, yeah.
It's your divorce watch.
Divorce, yeah. It is.
That's a memory.
It is.
There you go.
So incredible. It's just there's so many stories. So to me, it feels like this is where I'm going alone. This is a watch, kind of for me when I'm starting my journey on my own. So
I like that.
Crazy story. So, and this is what I was telling Pete. To me, the watch brands, whatever the marketing they have to sell the Air-King, is irrelevant, right? It's the story that you have, that your relationship with the watch, that's more important.
And how you got it.
Yeah, how you got it, why you're keeping it, and it's just like having this watch to celebrate kind of my journey, on my own going forward. That's it. That's if I make mistakes or whatever, it's going to be my future. And having this watch to commemorate this journey, this is what's going to be incredible. Just like, the Explorer 2 that I got, right? I told you, part of the reason I went with the watch because of the video that you made about it.
The reason I got mine is because you let me wear yours for so long. Although I don't know where mine's gone.
Yes.
You guys are just like the gray dealers that sell to each other. It's a circular,
we're
logic.
Convincing each other to get the watches. So I think it's these stories that I care so much about. Not so much about the marketing. The marketing is great. Because it gives the watch value. Besides just the value that you give it to it. So,
yeah, I think the marketing also, it's kind of like, it's the invitation to the party.
Because if you have to sell it, if I have to sell the Air-King to someone, let's say things go wrong, things don't work out, then at least, nobody's going to care. It's like that I bought it because it was this story. They're going to be like, what the fuck? I don't know. But they'll buy it because of the secondary story.
By the way, before you get to the next batch of super chats, Tim, let's take a look at the poll. The poll, which we forgot about, over 170 people have voted.
176 people voted. Which watch is more iconic? Is it a Daytona or a Speedy? 57% said Speedy is more iconic than the Daytona, and only 43%.
Yeah, and I have to say this as someone who's not a big fan of Rolex. Rolex is just getting so much like automatic hate on those polls these days. It's like Fratello does these things, like they say, which one do you want to choose? And there's been a couple where clearly the Rolex is the better watch, and people just going anything but Rolex.
Norris McSquirter, this is Adrian's favorite troll, 9 pounds.
Is he a troll?
Social platform.
He's not a troll. I love this guy.
That's the thing, Adrian. Most of the trolls we do love.
Oh, right. Isn't that against what a troll is? I thought a troll's supposed to be annoying. This guy's cool.
Yeah, hey, we have both kinds. There's many generations of trolls. That we have.
This guy he's giving you £9, man. How much is he giving you this? He's probably giving you near enough 30 quid. I need to get some trolls. Can these trolls come up to my channel, please?
Can we get some of these high quality trolls to go over and troll Adrian?
I need some creative, rich trolls on my channel.
Yeah, I'd like trolls like this. It is kind of like being stabbed to death with a feather.
Yes. By the way, MJT is in the house.
He didn't read it.
Speaking of past obligations, see, I was supposed to make the intro, and the intro was supposed to contain a thing that MJT asked me to do. So I'm saying I have so many past obligations. Jesus Christ, MJT, I did not forget the intro. That new intro is still coming. Social platforms. The only platform I have ever used was the one which I have scaled in the Windbank Square to adjust the town hall clock. Every town needs a hero. However, hats off to Bobby Smith for the leg up.
Where does this guy get these thoughts?
Thank you, Norris McSquirter.
I want to be on whatever he's on.
Yo. He wants us to Google Windbank Square. I'm not sure what he wants us to do.
Windbank Square. Now, it's obviously Bobby Smith Jeez, it's just very, very complicated. It's a lot of deep references, references.
Well, it's wasted on me. I just think it's poetry. Guys, I'm gonna have to scram. It's getting late here.
Hey,
I'm gonna have to.
We really appreciate you hopping on. We're still gonna do it. We're gonna do a live stream about the Not Before
Podcast.
Time. Yeah. And I'll be in touch very soon. Okay, I'm gonna finish this Australia film, and we're gonna do it. Okay.
Sweet, cool. Have a good night, guys. Or
good night,
whatever time it is.
It's crazy time. Shamba Basher, £4.49. My small contribution. Thanks all. Hey, Shamba Basher, thank you so much for supporting this channel. I really, really appreciate it. And we had Showcase Watches, £4.49. What is the not so obvious Submariner alternative that isn't Omega or Tudor? Is it Glashütte Original CQ? Gotta be a contender. Curious on panels, tops, picks. Great chat. Thank you. Showcase Watches. James, let's go from here. I bet Pete is gonna mention the brand new Breitling. What's it called? The Super Ocean.
The new Super Ocean.
Yeah,
yeah. I think that's a. It's funny when you talk about alternative. I'm going to say this is a watch that it's not a substitute. So it's not like I hate it when people say, here's a Rolex alternative that looks exactly like the Rolex, and all it ever does is remind you that you didn't get the Rolex.
Yes.
So this isn't a bad substitute. This carries a completely different vibe. It's a completely different style of watch. You know what? I'd be thinking if for whatever reason you really wanted to buy a Rolex, a sub, and for whatever reason you couldn't get it, and you wanted an alternative, a really not so obvious watch, I'd be going a Xinu one.
You stole mine.
What is that? Oh, Zen. Oh, with the submarine steel.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is because it's nothing at all like the Rolex. No one's ever going to look at that and say you bought that because you couldn't get a Rolex. It's a completely different watch, but it's still a diver.
Yeah. That was kind of my take on it. I was going to say, is this going to be a rugged watch that's like a real Submariner? Which for me, once again, Zen completely for the win. And if it's sort of the pretty watch, kind of like a Submariner, I think you're completely right with the CQ's beautiful, and I like the Blancpain bathyscaphe. Not the 50 Fathoms original, but I like the bathyscaphe because it has its own DNA. It looks like a different watch.
The other one I'd throw in there would be, because I was actually looking at this the other day, and it's a gorgeous watch, the JLC Mariner.
I don't know that watch.
Oh, interesting. Let's
which specific Zen, by the way, would be one that you would pick?
I would go for my personal favorites, the black one with the kind of faux patina hands
on the right.
This one right here.
Yeah, that's kind of my fave.
Wild stuff. Damn.
So what's the price point on this one?
Yeah, so probably can't see myself buying it because you can't buy every single watch. But I do love that watch.
Yeah, well, one of these days I've got a Zen coming in. I've got the U50 Professional, which is the somewhat smaller version of this watch that they made in a very, very limited edition that sold out in about an hour. But I guess they're making them one at a time because I ordered it about 6 months ago, and every once in a while I'll see a rare one pop up on Instagram, but they haven't sent mine yet. But I'm a big fan.
Yeah, these guys control their production with an iron fist. They don't allow stuff to escape onto the grey market. It's pretty hard to get.
But to answer your question, OC, my watch was about 4,000.
Okay, thanks. It's a really tough question because whenever anybody says that there's tons of videos about what are the 5 alternatives to the Rolex Submariner or whatever, you automatically think, okay, well, does it have to be in a $10,000 price point? Or can it be something at the $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 price point? So it's like to me, like I would think, like what comes to mind is maybe the Longines Legend Diver or something like that, something like off the beaten path. But it's not in the same price category at all as a $9,000 Submariner.
Yeah, and that's you're absolutely right. And the Submariners are particularly difficult watch from that point of view, because it's a $10,000 watch. I'm not sure what it is in US, but it's about I think it's about 11 and a half here in Australia. So, but then is it really? I mean, can you really just walk in and expect to pay 11 and a half grand and walk out with a Submariner? So is it really a $19,000 watch? So your kind of your alternative price range goes from $2,000 or $3,000 to $20,000, and they're all Rolex alternatives.
Gotcha.
Air-King Ben, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Love that Sydney, Australia Air-King story.
Wonder why. Wonderful.
This guy, I mean, you can't script this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You can't. This is too real. You know?
Look at this color. This color is very unusual.
I love the blue.
Yeah.
Zins are amazing. Here we go. Mr. Zoso, this is another great alternative. Whoa, what did I just do? By the way, I want to take a look at that Hasselblad a little bit later, just for myself. Sexy camera. Breguet Marine 5817. Look at that. Ooh, I love the Breguet. You can get these actually for very fair price, especially on the rubber strap. They look so modern, so cool. Look at this, 10,000.
Expensive.
It's expensive, but I mean, you get so much for the money. You know, Guilloche dial. Yeah, it's mass-produced Guilloche. Fair enough, but there's so much details. You know, like you don't get this on other watches in the same price category. It's just at the moment, it's not. This is not a hot watch. You even got the Guilloche going on the rubber strap. It's a way of unifying the entire watch.
Design.
Yeah. Very clever.
I'm going to have to say, I have a problem with this watch. It's too many weird things piled on top of each other. So, I mean, when Lange made the Odysseus, they at least made it look like a sports watch. They didn't make it look like one of their dress watches, and they plopped rubber on it. To me, you know, if you took this rubber off and put a leather strap on it, it's not a sports watch, it's a dress watch. It doesn't have enough sport in it for me.
Breguet, they're not known for their sports watches. This is kind of this is their attempt at making as sporty of a watch that still looks like a Breguet. Right.
Yeah, I get it. It doesn't melt.
It's like when you buy when you see a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. You know, it's not an off-road SUV. It's Rolex. It's Rolls-Royce's interpretation of an opulent luxury SUV.
Mr. Zoso, handmade gold dials. That's what it's Guilloche, handmade Guilloche, of course. What I mean is just they have a bit of a production line. It's not a stamped dial. It is hand Guilloche the way it's supposed to be, but a little bit more on a mass production scale. But still, I mean, that's right. It's not the same level as you would get, for example, from Kari Voutilainen. But just saying, it is incredible what you get for very little. I mean, this does not even come close to like a Rolex dial. Okay, come on, guys.
Yeah, it's funny. I do love it. There's something about the idea of wearing a dress watch on a NATO I kind of enjoy, and that's the vibe I get from this. It's like someone's taken what is effectively a dress watch, found a way to make it probably 100 meters water. I'm guessing 100 meters water resistance. I don't know this watch, and put it on a rubber strap. It's kind of a if you're comfortable with the idea that your watch doesn't fit any particular genre, then you're fine. You're gonna love this.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it existed. I do find myself falling in love with it, so I hate the person that put it up.
Social media influencers.
Yeah,
I'm being influenced by a comment.
You're being influenced. I mean, think about it. For $10,000, this is so much watch for $10,000.
Yeah.
In-house movement, rubber strap, waterproof. I mean, this is a proper watch. Yes, it's a little bit weird, but I mean, how many of identical Rolexes do we really need in the collection? So,
did you say in-house movement, Tim?
Huh?
Did you say in-house movement?
In-house movement.
Okay.
What?
Good.
Yeah,
That's very, very important.
Yeah. When we were talking about in-house, right? We were talking, so that had to be.
Had to be emphasized.
It had to be emphasized. I mean, Breguet, obviously, I think everybody should know by now that there are in-house movements. This is obviously the last generation. The new
What's the deal with the
generation
Breguet off to the side, like tilted to the left like that? Explain.
It's just because they're so cool. Okay, that's their shtick. They got a shtick going that they're a little bit smidgen to the side,
smidgen to the left.
Yeah. Why? Because fuck you. That's why. Because they can do it. You know, because it's in-house movement. All right, so they can fuck around. Other people can't. So this is why they do it. They're too cool. They're too cool.
What about IWC? Does IWC have a diver alternative that would fall in that $5,000 to $10,000 price range?
Yeah, they've got the. I was going to say Aqua Timer, but that's the tag one. Yes, they do have a diver. It's never really taken off. It's never been really loved. It does do some odd, quirky things. It's got a weird bezel arrangement, if I remember rightly.
Aqua Timer.
Is it the Aqua Timer?
I'm going to say I skip the IWC counter every time I go to the AD. They do nothing for me. Sorry, IWC.
Yeah, Aqua Timer.
Everybody has to recycle parts of their own different watch names. So it's
Aqua Racer, Aqua Timer. They're a little too close.
Yeah, there's the Aqua Timer from IWC. That is like everyone forgets about that IWC. They don't really spend much. They really fiked it up, to be honest. The Aqua Timer, it's a very neglected part of IWC. They're not even trying, because IWC, they're so known for their Portugueser and their
at the bottom of the list.
Pilot. Yeah, it's at the bottom of the list.
Yeah,
they recently actually updated it, but it's just terrible. It's still
you wouldn't know it unless someone told you that it updated it and you were there carefully scrutinizing. You wouldn't know.
Yeah, and then when you wouldn't really even care.
Yeah, it's not bad. I kind of like it, but I don't. That's as good as it gets. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's simple enough.
So boring. Yeah. I mean, it looks so boring. Oh my god! It's very plain. It's very plain. They updated it, but man, it's too.
Forget
boring.
the Aqua Timer. Tim, what is your choice for best current IWC in the collection?
God, this watch is so boring. Mm-hmm. Sorry. What were you saying?
Go to something exciting. Like, would you choose the Portugueser, or
Portugueser is amazing.
or the Pilot's watch?
To me, it's all about that Pilot's watch. I would love to get a big Pilot someday. It's so cool. Look at this, the 43. So cool. It's so cool. It's so iconic. Right? You see those Flieger. Whenever you see, I mean, the IWC advertising is so freaking powerful. It's so strong. It's so like that. Even Patek basically cashed in on IWC by making their own Pilot's watch, completely ripping off IWC Big Pilot. You know, let's see. I think there's one for sale. To be honest, let me just check, because I saw there was one on David SW. The Big Pilot. It was like very cheap. For Patek, it was cheap for. Oh, sorry. Oh, there's new watches here. Oh my god, what is this? Okay. Let's just calm down. Getting distracted, sidetracked. Is there one? Let's see here. Can I find one? Let's see. Is there one? There was a Big Pilot. Well, there was a Pilot. Okay, otherwise I should have just went to a Patek website. But because marketing was so good, that Patek literally made a Pilot's watch, completely ripped off the design. Okay, let's just go to a Patek website.
completely ripped off the design and done zero advertising for it. And look, it's not their biggest seller, but the point is that it's bringing in the money. And
you don't even know where it is. Like, you don't even know which collection it is.
Yeah, because it's outside of any collection. It's just, there we go. So there you go. Beautiful watch. But I mean, that says a lot, that when you have a watch that's so iconic, other brands want to imitate you and make a kind of a more expensive version of that watch. Because see, if IWC was clever, they should, because like they have a $10,000 version of the Big Pilot, but they should also have some kind of that $50,000 range, like full solid gold, but with some. See, they don't have anything. They have a brass one, but they don't have a extremely expensive version of it. So they're losing out. And I think Patek saw, hey, there's an opportunity here for someone who wants a pilot's watch, but wants like the most expensive version of a pilot's watch.
Yeah, they'll do it in the chronographs. The IWC will sell you like a solid gold perpetual calendar pilot's chrono, but they won't do it in the three-hander, which I think I agree with you, Tim. It's kind of a wasted opportunity. You don't have to make a lot. You make 10 of them. They'll sell 10 at 100K each.
I think like they should really make, because like right now, so if you look at the Big Pilot, right, the numbers, they're painted, but they could really make a full gold version with applied, like really spend a little bit more attention to detail, maybe make a gold rotor. It all depends, but I think they're probably also restricted by the conglomerate, or what they could do. Probably they want Zenith too, or some other, maybe whatever. Which part of the group IWC is?
They're Richemont.
Richemont.
Yeah, okay. So they're Richemont. If they went up, I don't know who'd be above them.
We're gonna.
I don't know why they don't do it.
I could probably. Mike Hammer, $5 super chat. Did you order the rubber strap for your Speedy? Any info? So there is a problem, Mikey. The problem is that I stupidly there was an opportunity and I bought the Moritz Grossman. So I kind of ran out of money to buy the rubber strap. That rubber strap for the Speedy is $500. Yeah, I mean, it comes with a deployant clasp and the rubber. I think each one is like $250, so it would cost me $500 to get the rubber. I think it's still probably available, right, OC? Nobody's out there buying it, right?
Nah, no one's buying it. I'm sure they still have it. They have one in stock in New York.
They probably still have it, but it's $500, and I need to pay. I need to be paying off the Grossman, so I figured, it's not a smart thing to do to just take that money that I don't have and spend it on the rubber strap that I technically don't really need today. I don't know. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. But I don't know. You guys tell me, should I? Okay, let me make a poll. Okay, I'm going to close the current poll. Which watch is more iconic, Speedy or Daytona? Speedy is 60% and 40% said Daytona. So it's pretty decisive. 40% delta in that vote. Okay, here we go. Should I buy a $500 rubber strap?
Pete, does this make you want to get into daily live streams for hours and hours?
I'll tell you what, if I'm looking distracted, my dog does not want me to get into daily live streams. She's screaming at me that it is now walk time. What am I doing?
Like 13 minutes. 13 minutes. 13 minutes left.
Hi.
Yeah.
If you can stay with us for another 13 minutes, that would be.
I can do another 13 minutes.
Perfect. Okay, guys, the poll is live. You tell me. Because I didn't buy it. I think it's the dumbest thing that I could do right now. It's the dumbest thing. The leather with the deployment is $350. Oh.
You'll wear your Speedy so much more on rubber, though. I
would. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Because it digs into the it pulls my hair. First of all, the Speedy pulls my hair like there's no tomorrow. Okay, it's a great way to wax your wrist without using actual wax.
Beautiful Chinese crafted bracelets.
Username Mickey, where did you go? $5. If it's not a Moritz Grossman, I don't want to hear about it. Tim Wright, you ruined me. I can't wear my shitty Rolexes anymore. Oh, Mickey didn't believe that I'm actually paying money for the Moritz Grossman. He called me. He's like, Tim, all right, don't bullshit me. You know, I can see it through you. Is this a loan? Did you borrow it? What is going on? What is the truth? And I'm like, dude, I wish it was just a freaking straight up gift. You know, it's just like, hey, there you go. Enjoy it, Timmy. But no, I'm actually buying it. I'm paying money for it. I need to be selling everything that you say. Like I need to get on top of my eBay game, guys.
Is there something that you've sold, Pete? Is there something from your collection that you've decided, listen, I just don't like this anymore, and you just gotten rid of it and sold it?
A couple. There was a couple I got rid of. Most of them were nothing particularly special. They were like, there was a Mito I picked up, cheap, and I'd never really. I shouldn't have bought it. But there was probably one watch which I really wanted, and it's not even particularly expensive, but it was early in my hobby.
Was it
no, it was an Oris Diver 65, and it was one of the first ones, the ones that have got those funky like 60s style numerals on them, and I saw it and I put some money aside and I bought it, and I never really fell in love with it, and it's weird now, years later, having moved it on. In a bizarre way, it's now making money. Like that watch is now trading for like double what I paid for it, which is not a huge amount of money, but it's just weird that that's happening. And secondly, it's odd with all of this love now for the Diver 65 and people saying it's this fantastic watch, great enthusiast gateway, and me going, I never really liked it very much. It's a strange thing. I think, Tim, did you say earlier you don't sell watches, or you haven't sold watches?
I actually, I haven't sold a single watch. I had my Tag Heuer, the Twin Time, but I gifted it away to a family member. But like, I never bought a watch and then sold it to finance another purchase.
Until now,
my hand is forced. I need to sell something, so I chose. Because I have the Air-King. I chose I'm gonna sell the Explorer 1 because initially I wanted to get Explorer 1 two-tone. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I will sell this, but in the future, in a year or maybe two, I will buy Explorer 1 back again, but I will get it in two-tone. Yeah, because that's the one I wanted originally.
Yeah, it's not like a moral thing. If you want to sell a watch, sell a watch. I don't care. I just hate the selling process, so I just don't do it very much. And also, like I said earlier, almost like the day after I decided I was going to do this, I thought to myself, now what do I want my collection to be? And I've got a spreadsheet that I run that's got like 50 something watches on it that I want. And they all have, how engineering is this? And they all have like a color grade. And then I come back like every couple of months. And if I find myself thinking I don't want that watch anymore, I downgrade the color. And then after a year, it turns gray. And once you're gray, you're dead to me. I clearly haven't. I've gone a whole year without wanting you you're now no longer on the list, so they get kicked. So I've got to want. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, like, what are some of the ones that are in that top 3 or top 5 that are on that? I don't know if you call it a wish list or your acquisition list or your
Polaris, JLC Polaris in green, with the green dial, is on the list. It's just dropped down, but it's a watch I was really close to buying, but just haven't quite got over the edge, which is a Chopard Mille Miglia with the red dial. So that's hovering. That's really close.
By the way, Tim, there's a new Chopard boutique that just opened on Fifth Avenue across from right next to Vempe on 57th. It's really, really, it's small, but it's really nice. And they have maybe 10 or 15 Chopards in there. Not really nice pieces. Not just Happy Diamonds, but they actually have a whole bunch of different Alpine Eagles and etc.
I still have to go to the IWC Breitling. There's by the way, I'm gonna do a Breitling live stream. Let me just finish this movie. The movie. How's the Strahd? $2 super chat. Crowdsource it, Timmy, and add tacos for dinner. Hey, I would love to go get some tacos right about now.
What's the third one, Pete? Real quick.
Real quick one is a early 2000s Ulysse Nardin dual time big date. The one that they made a series that have got like this kind of those weird misshapen big oversized numbers that they did. I love that. And I've got a thing for travel watches as well. So I tend to buy a few travel watches. So GMT functions, world timers, etc. But I just can't. I'd love to add a world timer, but I just can't find one that cuts through and says, this is the one I want to spend my money on.
The only world timer worth buying is the Patek World Time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think
I know.
One, horrendously expensive.
I know.
That is the one that does kind of sing to me a bit.
Yeah.
But then I look at the price and realize sometimes I think sometimes what I think I might want to do is because it's really hard to get as well. Yeah. So occasionally I think I'm going to go into the Hourglass and just put myself on the waiting list. They probably won't offer it to me for 5 years, but that's okay. I can spend 5 years just telling myself I'm on the Patek waiting list. I don't have to. I can't buy anything else.
That's what I was, and then because I'm a YouTuber, there was a guy who anyways. But I'm still on the list. I don't know. I hope I don't. I'm on the list for 5167. Hopefully. There was a lot of drama that was involved in whether I'm going to be able to get it or not. But now that I bought this watch, basically I spent all the money. If they call me, I'm going to have to put it on. Thank God I have an unlimited American Express card, so I can put it on the credit card and then just, I don't know. I'm going to have to sell a Pepsi, a Cermet. I don't know. It's going to be crazy. It'll be emergency sale. By the way, 1X $5 super chat says, Pete, thank you for joining today. I appreciate that your channel is unsponsored, right? Is it sponsored? Unsponsored?
Unsponsored, yeah. So
unsponsored?
It's making me the princely sum of bugger all.
He says, please keep the videos coming. Love interacting with you. Ooh. You go. And Pete, feel free to jump on our streams at any time. Hopefully you like the characters here, the chat, and if you ever, listening to the show, just type in the link in the chat and I'll drop the link. You can hop on. We can talk watches, whatever.
If he ever wants to jump on at 7 o'clock in the morning every day.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so absolutely. Look, I've had an absolute ball. So thank you so much for inviting me on. Thank you so much for poking me on Instagram and saying, Pete, are you able to come? That's great. I've really enjoyed it. You're absolutely right. The timing's a little bit quirky.
Yes.
But 7 o'clock in the morning on a weekend is fine. I can do that. But
by the way, speaking of Melbourne, Madman, the gentleman who just sent the super chat, is a local from Melbourne.
Oh,
He's a
okay.
great guy. His name is Chris. Woke up this morning, says, to some great watch talk, and no, I think he's trying to say bird brain on the stream. Thanks, Timmy. Congrats on the Grossman. Cool to see you here, Pete. Cheers. He's an incredible guy. This guy, he's in the movie. He's going to be in Australia, the movie. He literally saved my mind because I had such ridiculous time in Sydney that when I came to Melbourne, I thought I don't know, I was gonna kill myself because it was so freaking terrible. I had just the worst time in Sydney. Anyways, so calm down. But this guy, you should meet this guy someday. And by the way, I missed a super chat from Christopher Negroni, who's a member for 5 months. As a story editor, says, I'm getting a two-tone Explorer before you, Timmy. Fuck two-tone, Chris. No, I will not let you get away with it. But Pete, thank you so much for joining us today for this talk. Oh my God, the dog is coming with taking you away.
No, she's coming in and stealing things and showing them to me and then walking away.
She's stealing the leads. I never thought I would see a dog steal leads live. Oh God. But hey, I really appreciate and please, I don't know if the time works. By the way, I do usually 2 shows. There's going to be a second show in about 3 hours. And if you ever want to join from the phone, that's also not a problem. We're not usually this professional.
No, the 7 o'clock works actually pretty well for me. And on a weekend, I can squeak in. So, yeah, I look forward to it. I've had an absolute ball. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Well, final words, maybe OC, Pocket Watch.
The link to Pete's YouTube channel is in the chat. So
yes.
feel free to subscribe if you want to learn more about Pete McConnell.
Guys, go over, check out Pete's channel, watch the videos. There's some actually very interesting topics for us to discuss in the future, especially that new limited edition Iron Man. You know what?
Yeah, I don't like that watch. I'm never going to buy it. It's not my thing. But yeah, my point on that really was about the weird way it was released. Like it just like no press release, no announcement.
Yes.
I think that's not a bad model. In a strange way, it's not a bad model for how to do a limited release and not piss off the community.
Exactly. It's a very, and the fact that this is made out of titanium, yet they priced it at the same price as their basically plastic version.
Yeah, it's
mind blowing. It's almost like they're giving you a discount on this limited edition, right?
Yeah, either that or they're smacking you in the face with just how little difference the case material makes the price.
Maybe. Oh, what happened? Here we go. Wait, what was that? Oh yeah, guys, please make sure to upvote the stream. I would really appreciate it. It really does help us out. Really does help us out. And guys, let's play the outro music. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Huge shout out to Pete. And Pete, we'll be back. Hopefully you enjoyed joining the streams. And
I will be back.
Excellent. Anytime. You don't have to. Just feel free. Anytime you want to jump on. If you have a topic, we'd love to do a topic.
Yep.
Whatever you like, and we'll keep doing, guys. I'll see you in about 3 hours. I'm gonna go get some tacos. Pete, what are you getting? What are you gonna get for breakfast?
Egg and bacon roll, I think, and a sausage and a cappuccino on the way home from the dog park.
Excellent. All right. OC, what about you? Are you getting dinner?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab I think a cheeseburger tonight for dinner.
Ooh, a cheeseburger and pocket watches.
Some Vietnamese pho.
Ooh, a Vietnamese pho. All right, guys, I'll see you. Yeah. See, the pressure.
Good night,
the pressure
everybody.
in the room. She can't wait. She's hungry. She is hungry, guys. I'll see you soon.